Learning a foreign language itself is not an easy task, but we manage to make it even harder by creating and, most importantly, sticking to the myths that stop us from growing and actually do us more harm than good. My name is Ruslana, and this is my channel for mindful learners. Let's debunk the most common misconceptions of learning a foreign language. Have you fallen for any of them? Only native speakers can teach me correctly. The reality is, while native speakers do speak well, guess what? Not all of them can teach. Well, of course, I don't mean those who actually are teachers of their language. What I want to say is that most people believe that any native speaker can teach them. But it doesn't work this way. Just imagine yourself teaching your native language. See? Non-native speakers, on the other hand, not just master the language, they learned the best way to explain it. They have already gone through everything you are struggling with. They have succeeded and drawn their conclusions, which they are willing to share with you. On top of that, a teacher who speaks the same language you do is most likely familiar with common mistakes and pitfalls that learners from their language background encounter. More than that, chances are they made those mistakes back in the day. The second myth of learning a foreign language is the one that saddens me the most. I am the person who advocates logic and structure. I am the one who can go on and on about the importance of grammar. And the myth is, I don't need grammar, just speaking. The truth is that any language is a structure. This structure lies within grammar. Without grammar, our speech will look and sound like word salad. What's the point of expanding your vocabulary if you don't know how to operate it? While separate phrases and the language of gestures will help you communicate in some simple daily situations, it will not let you go far at work and anything more serious than ordering coffee. If that doesn't convince you, try asking yourself these questions. How do I feel not being able to express myself clearly and naturally? Do I feel okay to be misunderstood and not taken seriously? When it comes to the business environment, grammar precision plays an even bigger role, as it reflects professionalism and attention to detail. In a business context, clear and accurate communication is vital for maintaining positive image and credibility. I can improve English in 2 weeks, 1 month. The list can be continued. I need to learn English to pass the interview. They expect candidates to have B2 level and higher, tells me a student who barely turned B1. Okay, you may know the questions they ask at the interview. You may prepare and learn the answers, but then what? Learning a language is a gradual process, which requires time and consistent efforts of building learning habits, applying the language to real-world situations, handling complexities, and many more. On top of that, everything above depends greatly on your learning pace. In my 13-year experience of teaching English, I had a student who boosted his level from complete beginner to A2 in just 2 months. To achieve this incredible result, he took full responsibility of his progress. He followed recommendations and, which is pretty ironic, he didn't aspire for fast results. The idea that English or any other foreign language can be learned fast is unrealistic and will lead to disappointment and frustration, which in turn results in the next myth. The next weird idea is all around me, including my husband's and my brother's point of view. And this is, English is just not for me. Let's be honest. It's not that English is not for you. It's just you don't see enough reason to learn it. While everyone says how crucial it is nowadays to speak English, you may not see the real advantage of it for you. I need English for work. I want to travel freely and communicate abroad. Well, these factors don't seem to be very strong. What you do need to figure out first is what English will give you, for real. What opportunities do you see in speaking it well? Or try asking yourself another powerful question. This one helped me with German just this year. What does lack of English stop you from having and being able to do? Another thing that makes you think English is not for you is extremely simple and transparent. You haven't found your learning style, or a teacher, or both. Even if you have tried multiple schools and private tutors, it doesn't mean that you have found the right one. You might have given up just one attempt before the perfect choice. Next misconception of learning English reminds me of the common intention to start exercising on Monday, on the 1st of September, next year. You got it. I need to find a new job first, then I will think about the lessons. The reality is, you won't. If you're thinking of improving your English after you've got a new job, that means you should have started working on it long before. Learning English requires a lot of effort, your willpower mainly. You will need to allow time for lessons regularly. You will need to prioritize and stick to the schedule. You will need to build a learning habit before something of high priority, like new job, breaks into your life. But that's psychology. Let's speak linguistics. Good thing if your language is strong enough to pass the interview, take on new tasks and responsibilities. What if it's not? As we discussed in myth number 3, a new language cannot be grasped overnight. In fact, before being invited for the interview, you will need to go a long way building a network, negotiating and showcasing your advantages on the labor market, which I assume you would like to do in English. So taking care of your language fluency beforehand sounds like a nice investment in your future value. Oh, this one I used to take personally. They can't teach me anything if they don't work in my field. I faced this misconception at the dawn of my teaching career, but understood its fallacy fast. Right, I'm not an expert at my students' field, but do I have to be? Well, working long enough with people of a specific profession, I acquire some understanding of what they do and even can support some small, clever, I hope so, conversation. It's not the point anyways. The point is, you know your business and I know how to help you do it in English. 90% of students who came to me to improve business vocabulary stayed with me to understand how English works, its grammar, word building, the logic of the sentence, and how to put all the vocabulary they already have into practice. Besides, let's agree, teaching English is not only about the language anymore. English is a means of communication that goes through industries and professions, so we can equip our students with a skill that helps to interact with people from different fields and cultures. You know, soft skill. The last on my list, but not in life, myth of learning a foreign language is in fact the most common reason for people to give up the process because they don't see any advancement. And it is the idea that intensity should prevail over frequency. A lot of metaphors can be provided here to illustrate the fallacy of this idea, from doing sport, building shape, to learn how to paint a picture if you have never held a brush before. The core of mastering any skill, including the foreign language, is consistency. Language learning benefits from regular practice and exposure, which builds routine and helps you incorporate English into your daily lives. Our goal is to make the process of language acquisition more natural and useless. In other words, setting aside hours to learn English sounds cool, but useless if you do it not regularly and allow long gaps between the lessons. If it is lack of time that stops you from building a nice learning habit, I completely understand your concern. Nobody has a spare hour to practice English on a daily basis. Good thing you don't have to. Even as little as 20 minutes per day, I mean it, every day, will guarantee you the progress in gaining your language proficiency. I have been utilizing this format for 3 years with a corporate client of mine, and only positive feedback was given to me on the matter. My students don't feel the pressure of a regular 60-minute lessons and are much more open to all the new activities to make the most out of those 20 minutes. Life is changing. Our mindset is changing. Bite-sized learning is making its way. Why don't you try to check it out? So, have you fallen for any of those myths? Do you agree with my picks? Please let me know in the comments. And see you soon in the next video. Bye!